Hello Animorphs fans and welcome back to the Animorphs universe. Welcome back specifically to the Circus. That's what our AniLysis is on today. And look at all our flashing lovely lights. Doesn't it make you feel circusy? What is the purpose of the circus? Right, okay, so first time we see the circus is in this book. Notice how I say the first time we see the circus, it appears twice in the Animorphs series. First time we see it is at the start of this book. Why is it a thing? Well, it's the opening shenanigans, and what better place to have an opening shenanigan in an Animorphs book than in the circus? So you got clowns and honking and what else do you get in circuses? It's usually like, in this country, it's usually travelling gypsies, you know, travelling Irish gypsies. By the way, I can say what I want because my family ancestry were Irish travellers. I think on my mother's side. Wasn't my dad's side? No, my dad's side is Jewish. I think my mother's side were Irish travellers. Yeah, pretty sure. But anyway, rather than immediately going on some tangent that means nothing, let's just concentrate on the circus of the Animorphs TVs. Jesus Christ. The Animorphs book series. Cassie and Rachel have gone to the circus. Why? Well, let's just have a look at some quotes. It was a Sunday night. It was late. The circus had finished its last show. Their trailers and tents were clustered around the backside of the big city arena. The arena is a place where they hold rock concerts and ice shows and play basketball games, and where they have circuses. My dad had taken my sisters and me to see the circus earlier in the evening. See, my mum and dad are divorced, so my dad does these little outings where we all get together every second weekend. Sometimes it's just me and my dad, like when we go hiking together or go to ball games or gymnastics events. Those are all things my dad and I like, but Jordan and Sarah, my sisters, don't. My little sisters loved the circus, but it's not my kind of thing. I guess I'm too old. That's why I dragged Cassie along, so I'd have someone to talk to when my sisters were getting all excited over the clowns and stuff. There wasn't much activity in the little tent and trailer city outside the arena. I could hear dogs barking. I could hear raucous laughter coming from a brightly painted trailer. I could smell the usual circus smells: manure, hay, beer, cotton candy. There were security guards around the perimeter of the area, but I wasn't worried about them. Cassie and I walked silently past the tiger cage. The three big cats just stared blankly. It was night. They wanted to be in the jungle. Instead, they were in a too small cage, trapped in a nightmare invented by humans. Then I saw the elephant pen. There was a sturdy fence around 4 big Asian elephants. They were a little different from the African elephants I knew so well, but they were elephants just the same. That nicely gives us a description of the circus. Where does it take place in book 7? At the city arena, for which I've already done an AniLysis. So at the end of this video, it will link straight to the city arena, and that's where we'll do that particular AniLysis. We're also not specifically looking at the only real character we see at the circus, which is Joseph something. He will have his own separate AniLysis. We're just looking at the location of the circus, okay? What do we know about it? Well, we know that there's trailers with raucous laughter coming from it. There's pens where they keep animals, so it's an animal circus. But the only animals we know about, really, are elephants and tigers. And the tigers look very sad because they're in these cages. The elephants are in a pen. We're given no real description of how the place is laid out. So I'm not going to draw a diagram of the layout because we get no clues. There's actually very little description of the circus. It's just those 3 quotes which give us as much description as we're allowed. That's it. I mean, they go into the elephant bit and wait to hide, ambush Joseph something and teach him a good old lesson, and he gets thrown and lands on a tent somewhere. But that's basically it. Those 3 quotes there. So what can we get from those 3 quotes? It's very much a kids-based circus, to the point where Rachel, at probably, 14 years old here, is a bit like, man, this is such a, oh my god, this is such a drag. Yeah, that sort of thing. So very much kid-based, animal shows, clowns, balloons, those little fishing games, you know, the ones where you got like a a duck, catch a duck. That's, you know what that is, you know, where you hook a duck. Is that what they call it? Other way, you're fishing for ducks rather than fishing for fish. I'm fishing for views. Actually, I'm not, because no one's going to watch an AniLysis on the circus, are they? By the way, memberships. You can help my channel out and also watch videos early. So I've got members already, and they are seeing videos that you can't see yet if you're not already a member. So go be a member. The circus implores you. What do you say, Emperor Palpatine, about the non-members becoming members?
Do it.
There should be a join button. That's shilling over. Let's talk more about the circus. The circus has security guards, which I find very strange. We do have circuses in the UK as well, and there aren't security guards. And I'm just thinking, is this an American thing, a California thing? Or is it just, I don't know, why have they got security guards? Is that normal? Americans out there, if you've been to the circus, do they normally have security guards? Or is this like a California specific thing? I wouldn't be surprised. I'm trying to think of a joke, but I can't. Something about circus in California, but it's not coming out. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. The place also smells of the usual circus smells: beer, cotton candy, hay and manure, which is quite a combination, but it does sort of put you in that mindset, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure everybody here has been to a circus, and you know what it's like. It's all right. I've never been to a circus with animals, personally. I think that must have been banned in the UK for a long time, certainly before I was born. Yeah, we don't. I'm pretty sure we don't. Yeah. It's all just clowns, typically. And clowns are clowns, you know. So there's not much I can really add to this part of the circus because we've gone over everything. It smells and looks like your typical circus. It's a tent and trailer city. So probably part of it looks like that, a big performance tent. That's probably like the main part of it, except you've got the city arena in the background. Go watch the AniLysis on that. It will be linked at the end of this video. It will pop up on the screen, you know, like they usually do. Bang, bang, bang. Let's look at the second appearance of the circus. It comes in book 49, The Diversion. We flew over houses and strip malls, parks and ball fields, till we reached the heart of the city. Then we swooped between the downtown skyscrapers, soared and plunged and emerged over the domed roof of the Civic Centre. The streets around the centre had been barricaded with orange sawhorses. Police cars were parked crossways at the corners, lights flashing. Uniformed officers directed traffic away from them. 18-wheelers, their trailers brightly painted with clowns and tigers, lined the blocked-off streets. I floated above the big rigs. Below me, burly guys wielding leather prods unloaded elephants from the trailers into a huge pen in the Civic Centre's plaza. More policemen tried to hold a crowd of onlookers behind a rope barrier. A monster forklift trundled across the plaza and dumped a huge round bale of hay into a low trough at one end of the pen. One of the elephants trumpeted. A dozen others lumbered over to the trough. Marco swooped out over the plaza. Hey, how come nobody told me the circus was in town? What's unusual about this is, why is the circus now at the Civic Centre Plaza? Because it's mentioned earlier, you remember the quote, that the circus goes to the city arena. The city arena is where they hold the circuses, plural. So now it appears that further down the line, they used the Civic Centre instead. Now, Americans, is the city arena just a different name for a civic centre? Is that how you see it? Or would you agree that those are two distinguished places? Two different places? Because I get the feeling that whichever ghostwriter wrote The Diversion, apologies for forgetting, didn't remember the fact that the city arena was the place where the circuses were held. And so they just came up with, well, she just came, because they're all female, apart from Zilk, who did 25. she believes, oh, I've got to do a circus. Where's it going to take place? The Civic Centre. Without going back to book 7 and saying, oh, okay, so it should be the city arena that we go to. Or is it a case that they are the same thing, they're just named differently here? I want your clarification, Americans out there. Is Civic Centre interchangeable with City Arena? Please do let me know. I probably will do a separate analysis on the Civic Centre. In fact, it's already on my list because it's mentioned in another book that isn't 49. So we will get to that eventually. But whatever the case, it appears, as far as I know so far, that the circuses, either there's multiple circuses, or the same circus which usually went to the city arena has now this time gone to the Civic Centre. I mean, you can say it's pretty much the same because there's a group of elephants. And we can probably say it's the same group of elephants from the circus we saw in book 7. Whether Joseph something is in charge of those, we don't know because he's never brought up. But I'm just assuming that it's the same circus, it's come to the same town, because towns tend to use the same circuses as far as I know, certainly in the UK. Is it the same in America? I think so. I'm asking you a lot of questions this time, aren't I, Americans? I'm hoping my comment section is filled with the answers I require. I'm just gonna headcanon that this is the same circus, because you've got the tigers and clowns on the trailers, which indicates there's probably tigers as well, like there were in book 7. And there are elephants as well, which were the only 2 species named that we know of in book 7. And those 2 species appear again at this circus. The only difference is it's changed its location where it's being held. And there's police cars and all that, they're coming in and they're basically starting it all up. They're unloading everything, getting it all ready, so it's probably gonna start the next day or something, you'd say. The place has been cordoned off, but that's all we get from description really. We do know that there's a forklift and that comes into play soon enough. The circus here is actually part of the mission's plan. Let's look at the quote. Jake outlined his plan. He turned to Rachel. You know what to do, right? Call a little attention to myself, short-circuit the biozapper, and lead any and all pursuers towards the circus, where I can squeeze in among the other elephants and, in the confusion, demorph. And then, she swished her rope-thin tail. Jake sighed. Then mingle into the crowd. Do not call attention to yourself, and wait patiently for the rest of us. So the circus actually now plays an integral role, whereas in book 7 it was just the opening shenanigan. The circus here plays a role because these elephants have just been unloaded, rather conveniently for the Animorphs, and Jake says, right, okay, Rachel, you're gonna do the thing, and then you're going to go as Elephant Morph and mingle with the other elephants, because apparently the circus people would not notice an extra elephant. You know, they're pretty big and you probably have a good idea of numbers, but they're circus people, so they're probably stupid. That's not me saying that, by the way, I'm just getting that impression from the writers. Go to mingle with the elephants, demorph amidst them, because the circus are just so goddamn inattentive, apparently, and then rejoin us. Actually, no, it's not come join us, it's just sit out. Which obviously Rachel is not going to do, Jake. You know that. Oh my God, I forgot how... I didn't realise at the time how bad this plan was. I don't think I mentioned in my book review how bad this plan is. Short-circuit the biozapper, which basically means destroy the Gleep biofilter, so far as I'm concerned, to the mission location, which is this biomed thing. We've also done the... We did recently also an analysis on the DNA tracking computer. I'll probably put that at the end of the video as well, because that's this mission. Rachel destroys the entranceway and then rushes off to go demorph amongst the elephants whilst also bringing all the yerks. How does that work, Jake? Bring your pursuers to the circus and then go into the elephants and demorph in the confusion. And then mingle with the crowd and do nothing and just wait for us. This is one of the stupidest plans Jake's ever done, isn't it? Surely. Bring all the yerks with you and hide amongst the elephants and demorph there, as if the yerks would just lose an elephant and not notice this going on. I don't know how I overlooked this in my book review. But anyway, regardless, apparently it works. And then the circus plays one more little trick in that because they're unloading and getting the place sorted out, there's a lot of machinery there. And when the Animorphs get trapped in the room with the DNA tracking computer, Rachel, of course, re-enters the fray using the circus's forklift and saves the Animorphs. 2 thick metal prongs erupted through the doors. The prongs rose, the doors crumpled open. Grrrr! Rachel, in Grizzly Morph, bounded through the opening. Behind her in the passageway sat the monster forklift from the circus, motor rumbling. "Don't think of it as stolen property," she told Jake. "Think of it as a really big key." So Rachel, as a grizzly, steals a forklift and uses it to raise the door, which allows the Animorphs to escape, and the plot continues. And that's the last we see of the circus. It's not the last we hear of the circus. "We got the circus in trouble," Rachel said. Channel 6 reported a rogue elephant escaped from the Civic Centre, ripped up a blood bank and damaged a gas main that later exploded, wiping out an alley and torching an abandoned warehouse. The last we hear of the circus is that the Animorphs got it in trouble. So the rogue elephant, Rachel, broke into the blood bank, destroyed part of it, then destroyed a gas main, which exploded, wiping out the alleyway and the warehouse. Which I don't believe we saw. I might have done, but it's not really relevant to the circus. It's not relevant to the circus right now, really. So, what is relevant is that obviously the regulators are going to come down the circus saying you didn't have your elephant under control. Look at the damage it caused, and what would happen then? You'd probably think that would be the last time that circus ever had elephants. Probably. I would not be surprised. But also, it's the Animorphs getting the circus in trouble for something that they didn't do. Let's be honest. And the Animorphs never make it up to the circus in any way at all. So the Animorphs basically just, yeah, they sodded up the circus for something they didn't do. One of the times where the Animorphs do something which you could look at and say, that was very bad, and you were the bad guys there. I mean, if the circus led to the destruction of a warehouse and an alleyway, destroying a gas main, destroying a blood bank, that circus is done, surely. So Rachel's actions have basically wiped out this circus as a business. And whether you say, oh, they deserved it because they mistreat animals and whatever have you, it was clearly within regulations, within the boundaries of the law. So, no. And the Animorphs just ruined a business which employs people and brings entertainment to the city. Obviously, there are some cons to the circus, but there's also a lot of pros. And, you know, the Animorphs just said, sacrificial, expendable. The poor old circus died in book 49. You died. You as a character perished. R.I.P. But of course, this is at the end of the series where basically the Animorphs are getting desperate. So it's understandable in the context of the Animorphs are basically about to be in hiding. One of them already is. And we're coming to the end of the war. Visser One's going to do all-out war, and they say, right, sacrifices need to be made. And obviously, I've read Animorphs, and I do get that. I do get that. Sometimes it's just worse than others. And I think this is one of the worser times, if that's the right way to put it, if that's a word. Because they just basically frame the circus and it's never made up to. It's just almost like, who cares about the circus? It's only people's livelihoods. Yeah. Anyway, that's the circus. Very jolly episode. Didn't you think it would be a bit more fun than this? You know, honk honk and diddly diddly dee. Unfortunately, I don't have a clown outfit. Although some of you might just say I'm already wearing it. So to summarise, the circus was an opening set piece for a shenanigan, and then later on it became essential to a certain mission, but it was also rather conveniently placed. The Animorphs stole a forklift, Rachel used it to escape pursuers, and then it took the blame for the Animorphs' actions, and we can only assume was closed down. That is the extent of the circus's involvement in the Animorphs series. There's also the weird part where it's used in 2 different places, but I've already covered that. So thank you very much, Circus. I think your role in the series was... I mean, it wasn't essential, I don't think, but, you know, it played a role in a mission. It did the thing, and it had an opening. Yeah, you're all right. You did all right. Fair play. Weren't important, but we needed a circus in the Animorphs universe, didn't we? What would the Animorphs town be if they didn't have a circus? Not great, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, now that the circus is done, it's time to spin the wheel again. And I've been doing the audiobooks things, and in this list, on this massive wheel, we've got all the possible AniLysis videos up to book 18, including Alternamorphs 1, Megamorphs 1, and Light Chronicles. So there's quite a lot there. Let's spin and see who comes up. Circus music. Is that circus music or is that Benny Hill or something? No, it's not. It's neither. Who we got? The Mountains / the Mountain Lake. That's probably from several books. It's an area. It's another location. The Mountains and the Mountain Lake. So we'll look at that in the next AniLysis video. It's probably used several times, I think we'll find, so that'll be interesting to look at, see how often it gets used. I know, for example, the first time it's used is in book 3, so that's where the next episode will be starting at. And yeah, that should be fun. It's a bit more of a serious one, that one, isn't it? So thank you very much for watching. I shall see you next time in the Animorphs universe. Ta-ra!